Well, now a very good evening to you and welcome to tonight's bulletin, it being the last day of the month of November before we start off a new month, that is December. Then we shall be calling it done, the year 2024. I do hope you are well from where you are. Now, my name is Sami Adika. A lot is happening, or rather has happened today, including Hustler Fund has marked 1 year since President William Ruto officially launched it. Now, we're waiting to see how that will go. I do understand that conversations regarding Hustler Fund will start off starting tomorrow with regards to how many Kenyans continue benefiting and how has the funds been able to help a few start their businesses. Well, we shall be keeping you up to date with that and many more. But starting us off tonight, President William Ruto now says the country is on the right economic trajectory, and by December this year, Kenyans will start enjoying the benefits of his government's interventions to curb the high cost of living, blaming the past regime for imposing poor policies that are attributed to huge borrowing and debt. The head of state said loan repayment is the only way to stabilize the country's economy.
Kazi yetu ya kwanza, tulikubaliana ya kwamba uchumi wetu ulikuwa katika hali mbaya sana. Madeni yalikuwa yametusonga kama taifa. Matatizo ya hata kugharamia kulipa hiyo madeni ilikuwa ni ndoto chafu. Ilikuwa ni hali ambayo Wakenya wengi walikuwa wanashangaa tutatoka hapa kwa njia gani. Mimi nataka niwatangazie Wakenya ya kwamba sasa tumedhibiti uchumi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Ile changamoto tulikuwa nayo, kisirani tulikuwa nayo, tatizo kubwa ambayo ilikuwa inatukumba na watu wengi walikuwa wanafikiria ya kwamba Kenya itaelekea mahali nchi zingine zimeelekea katika kukosa kulipa ahadi zao ama madeni yao. Mimi nataka niwatangazie Wakenya ya kwamba tumedhibiti uchumi wetu na sasa tuko tayari kama taifa kuhakikisha ya kwamba madeni yetu yote, ahadi zetu zote kama Kenya tutayatimiza na tutahakikisha ya kwamba tumelipa madeni yetu. Vile nilisema juzi nikiwa bunge, hatua yetu ya kwanza ya kulipa yale madeni ambayo yamekuwa yakitusumbua tunaanza mwezi ujao, huu mwezi wa Disemba, kuhakikisha ya kwamba we put our country in sound economic footing. Let me tell the people of our great nation Kenya, the challenges we had a year ago. We were staring at debt distress. We were staring at a difficult moment. I want to say, because of the decisions we have made over the last 1 year, today I can comfortably tell the nation that Kenya is now on a sound economic footing and trajectory, and we are well on the way to making sure that we respect all our commitments, including all our debts, so that we can get our nation moving.
Well, now on matters Hustler Fund, President William Ruto earlier today graced the first anniversary of the inclusion funds, which is also known as Hustler Funds. According to President William Ruto, a total of 39.7 billion Kenya shillings in loans have been disbursed to individuals and groups, with 21.8 million having reached individuals. Now, Toromo Dennis brings, or rather tells us more on how the first Hustler Fund anniversary was conducted.
Hustler ni watu ya ajabu, wanaendelea kulipa, tunawapongeza.
President William Ruto has today graced the first anniversary of the inclusion funds, which is mostly known as Hustler Funds in Nairobi.
Tuweze kufika hapa leo katika maadhimisho haya ya anniversary ya kwanza ya Hustler Fund. Mimi nataka niwaambie wale wote wamehusika na mpango huu, pongezi kwa kazi mzuri mliofanya, kwa sababu tulikubaliana ya kwamba tutabadilisha taifa letu kwa utaratibu na hatua kwa hatua tutahakikisha ya kwamba tunasongesha taifa letu katika kiwango kinachofuata.
President promised Kenyans who have saved with the Financial Inclusion Fund will get a boost of 50% of the long-term savings. Under the fund, 5% of every loan is directed towards savings, which is 70% to long-term savings and 30% to short-term savings.
50,000 ambazo tunajenga kufikia Januari, tutakuwa tumefikisha manyumba 90,000 ambazo tunajenga, na nia yetu ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba in the next 5 years we will have 500,000 Kenyans working in our housing development plan, because we committed ourselves to make sure that we use housing to grow jobs and to grow opportunities for employment in our country. Vile vile tuko na mpango mzima wa kuhakikisha kwamba we export our labor so that we can enhance the earnings of Kenyans. Tuko na mpango ya digital jobs ambayo sasa iko tayari. Wabunge wamepitisha sheria jana na mimi nitaweka sahihi next week so that we can unlock the potential of digital jobs using our ICT hubs, 1,450 countrywide.
During the Hustler Fund's first anniversary celebrations today, President Ruto said the government will on Friday reward 1.2 million borrowers with a matching fund in the long-term savings account in a ratio of 1 shilling for every 2 shillings saved. Additionally, he revealed that 28 billion has already been paid and 1.9 billion saved through the fund. Also, the fund witnessed 7.7 million repeated customers over the course of 52.5 million transactions, while the second product of the Hustler Fund, the Group Fund, which was initiated on the 1st June 2023, have also seen the creation of 591,661 groups, out of which 52,000 groups serving 1.2 million approved members have accessed the fundings.
Mimi nataka niwatangazie Wakenya ya kwamba sasa tumedhibiti uchumi wa taifa letu la Kenya.
When you started this fund, wale ambaye walikuwa hawatutakii mema walikuwa wanasema hii mahasla wakipewa hii pesa watapotea nayo, lakini hawa mahasla ni watu ya ajabu, wanaendelea kulipa, tunawapongeza.
Zaidi ya Wakenya 45% wamekopa pesa ya Hustler Fund. It is the most preferred fund currently in the country across all the borrowings in this country.
As Kenyans mark the 1-year anniversary of Hustler Fund program, a sum of 39.7 billion in loans have been dispersed to individuals and groups, and this amount has reached 21.8 million individuals. Toromo Dennis, EBN TV, Prime Edition.
Well, stakeholders drawn from different sectors are now pushing for tax reforms that will reduce the cost of living that many Kenyans continue to grapple with. The stakeholders have recommended that the VAT threshold should be lowered from the current 5 million Kenya shillings in a bid to increase the revenue collected.
We are working on looking at better solutions, a better approach to that. So all in all I'm to say is that as KRA, we are an integral part of this process. We continue to contribute to it. We want to learn from it, and we are very much looking to the final output, the final recommendations that will then help us in guiding our future approach to tax administration.
So we want to make sure that our design is based on balancing out, but more importantly, we also have to recognize, and I've seen the market has come out and told us, what are we fearing? Well, what we see here, what is distorting the picture is because we have market segmentation. And we should make sure that we crush the segmentation, or we are able to navigate the market segment. So we have two options. How do we navigate across segments, or how do we crush that segmentation? If that segmentation is, especially between formal and informal, we should crush, isn't it? But again, when you tax beer, wine, and spirit, we are creating a segmentation. How do we marry the two? That's what we are trying to do. How do we optimize? And Then, of course, there is also another segmentation of inputs and final output, isn't it? It's another form of segmentation. But look at it this way. In most of the cases, we have seen that what we considered inputs is also a final consumption component. So when do you call it an input and when do you call it a final consumption product? So you also have to make sure that somebody made those comments and I was like, look, ethanol is being consumed as directly, isn't it? But it's also an input. How do we make a division? But it's essentially, these are the areas we wanted to get the reality check. If you don't have the reality check, then we cannot get going.
Well, now taking a look on the divide that is ongoing in the Jubilee Party regarding the NADCO, rather the National Dialogue Committee's report, is that Jubilee Party members allied to its Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni have criticized the National Dialogue Committee's final report, noting it has failed to address the cost of living. Kioni's team has opposed creation of the office of the Prime Minister and the office of the opposition leader, stating it was not the primary reason as to why Kenyans demonstrated from March this year.
It is very, very immoral of us to think that we can start creating offices for people while people died when they were demonstrating in the streets. Watu hawakwenda milolongo ama demonstration maandamano kwa sababu ya ofisi fulani. Watu walienda kule kwa sababu ya gharama ya maisha. This document falls short of that issue. Ilikuwa gumu sana kuongea na watu wa KK. Hawakutaka hayo mambo yasungumzwe.
For the speaker to purport to elect a whip for the Jubilee Party, that is none of his business. We as a party are the ones who will write to the speaker to tell him who is the whip of Jubilee Party in the House. If government is paying 22% to borrow, will the banks lend to small business or are they going to lend to government? That very high interest rate is what has led to an upsurge in non-performing loans. I'm sure you have all seen the FKE, Federation of Kenya Employers, statement from a few days ago showing job losses, I think estimated over 70,000.
Now, however, members of Jubilee Party allied to nominated Senator Sabina Chege have come out to support the report by the National Dialogue Committee. The team says that even though the committee failed to fully involve Jubilee Party, they are supporting the outcome of the dialogue.
Kubaliana na mambo mengi ambayo yamesemwa, haswa tukianza na mambo ya kuleta amani katika taifa hili, mambo ya kuleta gharama ya maisha pia yamehusishwa pale, na sisi kama chama cha Jubilee tunasema kwamba tunashirikiana na serikali katika zile jitihada zote ambazo inaendeleza ili kuhakikisha kwamba gharama ya maisha imeenda chini.
Our recommendation was that the presidential candidate or the leader of opposition becomes the leader of minority party in parliament, and then the deputy becomes the leader of minority party at the Senate. This is a process, and I think from what we have been explained to, there are several. This is a legislative process. But for now, with the current cost of living, of course, the referendum is not recommended now. Though we appreciate it's going to be a process, and we are open to that kind of negotiations to see how it's going to be done. But for the current position as it is, referendum is not recommended now.
In the actualization of this report, whether it is through a parliamentary process or through other means, Jubilee must be an integral part of that particular process. So right now we are saying, because we are the first group to say, no mandamando, let us negotiate, we are happy that this particular process that we have rooted for, dialogue, has now given us this good report, and we pray that all those who are still yapping around other processes will come back to their senses and say Kenya is bigger than all of us.
Well, remember, currently Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga, together with the Azimio team as a whole, is proposing for a referendum in order to form the office of the Prime Minister together with the official opposition leader. We're waiting also to see how Martha Karua, that is NARC Kenya party leader, will react to that specific report. Remember yesterday when Odinga called for a crisis meeting, Martha Karua was nowhere to be seen. Well, what is her take with regards to that specific report? And also earlier on, Jeremiah Kioni and Martha Karua formed Kamwene as a faction in the Mount Kenya region. Well, what is she supporting Jeremiah Kioni's take that the report does not favor the common mwananchi? Now, on matters of corruption, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, on Thursday arrested 3 traffic police officers over bribery along Maimahiu Road. EACC CEO Twali Mbarak said the commission's officers moved in to arrest the traffic officers who were openly receiving bribes from motorists, but one managed to escape after firing at EACC officers, obstructing his arrest. Mbarak wants traffic police officers to be restrained from carrying firearms unless it is necessary for their safety, noting that they have mapped out notorious spots where traffic police officers collect bribes.
Obstructing them, either physically or the use of arms, especially the law enforcement agents. And for your information, I'm in communication with the IG. The IG supports EACC. His position is very, very clear that traffic police officers should not carry weapons, should not be armed unless it is extremely necessary for their own safety. But he himself personally, he doesn't see any reason why traffic police officers should be armed.
Well, now on matters education, junior secondary school teachers from Bungoma County have raised an alarm over what they term as poor working conditions and lack of infrastructure to facilitate implementation of CBC within primary schools. The teachers have accused Kanduiti TSC branch for delaying to employ them and discrimination during employment.
Walimu wa GSS, we want to demand the government kwamba to employ on permanent and pensionable terms. Tumeumia sana ya kutosha. Mimi nikiwa hapa ma 2016 graduate. Watoto siku hizi wa juzi tu 2022 graduates wanapata letters za PNB being dished up by the MPs wanawapatia wale ambao karibu nao. Sisi wengine tunabaki tukilia. We are not sons and daughters of lesser gods. Sisi pia tuna demand kwamba the government must and it must confirm us. Nobody here. Hawa Bungoma tumekataa ku renew, we can't renew. They must just confirm us. Yes. Number 2, we can't work in such an environment ila primary. Hiyo nayo tumekataa. Hapo sio mahali ambapo walimu wa degree wanafaa kukaa. Huko tumekataa. We cannot, hatuwezi kubali watoto wetu wakuwe wasted. Hawezi tumiwa kama control experiment. Hiyo tumekataa. Watoto wapelekwe, let the
pretend about it. We want our Secretary General Akelo Misori to take it up and to present this memorandum. We will be presenting ours to the county director TSC Bungoma, and then we will take a copy to the national office, to the Secretary General Corporate, ili waone mambo yetu inatuhusu Bungoma kama JSS, that we are failing and nothing is working out. Infrastructure in primary school to accommodate the practical essence of JSS, of CBC. Yeah. Yes. In secondary school, and Professor Makoha knew this, we have semblances of workshops, laboratories, and ICT rooms. So we want our, and as such, the government wasted a lot of resources building classes in secondary school.
Well, now crossing over to Kisii County, that is, as the country marks 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the Kisii County National Administration, the church and the psychosocial support therapists joined into the campaign to create public awareness on the social vice. Now, Kisii County Deputy Commissioner Tom Onjeri has asked Kisii residents to come out for medical checkups.
Na serikali na makundi yanayohusika kushughulikia haki za kibinadamu kusimama katika ukweli wa Biblia kwamba Mungu aliumba mwanadamu katika usawa. Kwa hiyo tungependa kusema haiwezekani kuwepo dhuluma katika mambo ya jinsia, na tunaomba kila mtu aelewe hili. Ndio sababu tumesimama na makundi haya, na maombi yetu na mashauri yetu ni kuwa tuhakikishe hakuna dhuluma kwa mwanamke, hakuna dhuluma kwa mwanaume.
We have come up with sensitization initiatives, and there's also a lot of initiatives by the CSOs within the county. We have lined up a series of meetings across the county, and this will involve also medical checkups. We are going out to check on wellness issues. We are going out to check on mental issues. We are going out to encourage people to go out on HIV testing. These are areas that have been neglected, and this is why sometimes, again, the statistics are such that you are able.
Well, on matters gender parity, Kakamega, or rather the multi-sectoral working group for the 2/3 gender principle, has stated that the implementation of the rule will substantially elevate women's participation in governance. Speaking in Nakuru County, the group noted that the 2/3 gender rule has to be honored by all government departments, including Parliament, as directed by the court. Kaka, ni next video.
Number 3, number 4.
Mukwanja, I am a member of this multi-sectoral working group on not more than 2 gender principle. This is set by the State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action. We draw money from the President's memo on 9th December 2022, where he asked that in leadership he would want to see this one outstanding constitutional principle. And out of that, the teams for gender set up a committee co-chaired by the PS and a member of the civil society. As you may see from the composition of this committee, it draws membership from government, from the private sector, from the civil society. So it's both a state and non-state actors participation. What we are here today in Nakuru County is part of the 10 counties that we are engaging in public participation. The committee has been meeting, consulting experts, engaging stakeholders in Nakuru.
Now crossing over to Kakamega County. Kakamega County Governor Fernandez Barasa has joined other leaders in the county to condemn the ongoing demolitions in Milimani area in Kakamega. Now, accompanied by the victims, Barasa has noted that they will present their grievances in the ongoing case concerning the demolitions.
Kakamega is in Milimani. In planning, we have low, medium, high residential areas. You can't bring slums in Milimani. I've never heard of that anywhere in the world. We have places like Mudiri or Kakamega that would have taken them there. Now, you come and build 4-story building, 200 meters from State House. That's a bullet range. Which planning is that? These people have something else they want to do with these plots.
Tunashangaa kama wanataka kujenga affordable houses in Milimani. I believe kila mahali kuna Milimani. Hakuna estate ambayo haina Milimani. And if they can bring affordable houses hapa, that means itakuwa ni slum. Hakuna Milimani tena. Kwa nini wanatudemean sisi watu wa Kakamega? Why? Why us?
We still now consider going for further court orders, because it looks like the court orders which you are issued here, they have deliberately decided to be in contempt of them. And for us as the leadership of the county, we want to condemn the national government that is using the regional commissioner to frustrate our people.
Now, the National Construction Authority, NCA, has accredited artisans in Laikipia County aimed at enhancing their skills in the construction sector, or other sector. Plumbers, masons, electricians, site supervisors, along other artisans accredited to ensure buildings are well constructed to avoid cases of building collapsing across the country. According to NCA officials, the exercise was necessitated by the need to ensure artisans are recognized as major part of construction is done by them.
Nimefanya takriban miezi 7 na nashukuru kwa sababu nimeweza kulea familia yangu. Mtoto wangu ameweza kwenda, ametoka primary ameenda secondary, anaelekea form 2. So nashukuru sana kwa sababu ya hii kazi. Leo tumekuja training, tulikuwa tumealikwa na Mheshimiwa Jane Kagiri na amekuwa wa manufaa kwetu.
Hii program ya leo tumefurahi kwa kuwa tumesajili zaidi ya watu 800 ambao ni mafundi ya aina tofauti tofauti, mafundi wa maji, wa stima, wa mawe, wa mbao, na pia wale huwa wanasaidia katika kuwapatilishia vyombo na vitu katika zile sehemu za ujenzi. Kwa hivyo leo tunashukuru National Construction Authority juu sasa wamepatia watu wetu cheti ambacho kitawasaidia kwenda kwa hizi mijengo na wapate kupewa kazi.
This is a program that is the first we are doing with the women reps in Kenya, and the reason why we are here is appreciating that the bulk of the work in the industry is actually done by the construction workers, the fundis, the construction workers, site supervisors, in conjunction with the contractors who we register as NCA, and the construction workers and site supervisors who we accredit as NCA and who have been accredited here today.
Now, the Elijah Lidonde Cup tournament has received a major boost from 22Bet company, which will help financially in the run of the tournament that will kick off from 22nd to 24th next month, with 4 teams set to participate.
Elijah Lidonde Foundation and Bet22. We are very grateful to Bet22 for coming to help us in this tournament that we are hosting on 22nd, 23rd and 24th of December, and we are very grateful to them because we know they are going to help us so much in hosting the tournament. The tournament actually is about the legends, especially Mzee Elijah Lidonde, who was a legend of football in Kenya, and the Elijah Lidonde Foundation is all about him, and we are hosting the 4 teams that come from the western part of Kenya. That's AFC Leopards, Mulembe United, Homeboys, Kakamega Homeboys, and Nzoia Sugar. Those are the main teams that are in the Premier League of Kenya, with an exception of Mulembe, who is playing the NSL. That's why we've decided to bring them up so that they can play football, and we see how we can continue helping football in this country.
With the foundation, we are happy to join them and join hands with them in the forthcoming tournament, to be able to see that whatever they have been doing in the community can be supported, can be financed, and can be also appreciated. And as 22Bet, as we appreciate working with communities, we are happy to join hands with the Tony Lidonde Foundation so that we can see through the number of talented players that they have been able to discover at a tender age, and we also see them through to up to their professional levels.
Well, that right there marks the end of EBN Prime Edition tonight. Many thanks for staying with us, actually, throughout the month of November. Looking forward to being with you come the month of December, which I believe starts tomorrow. Do have a lovely night. Until next time, good night.